So this is great for me because usually when I try to explain what we do, I say we do the same thing that brewers do. We put stuff in bottles that makes you feel good, except you don't have to be 18 or over 21. Ours is legal and you can do it in the morning. Okay, great. So my name is Laura McCann and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Adoratherapy. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so this is kind of like AA, yes, I admit it. Adoratherapy is my fourth business, and it's really the one that brings together the skill set that I have, which is I've been in the fashion industry for over 20 years. I've been in tech, and I really love the creative, but I also have the business and consulting background and the supply chain background that it takes to do this crazy business, because this is a crazy business. And those of you who are manufacturers know what I'm talking about. So what do? We are really here to solve the problem of how do you change how you feel in the moment when you don't have time to do the things you really would like to do, like walk, pray, meditate, exercise, eat right, and you really want to shift your mood. So today, when you want to do that, you might go towards things that aren't healthy, like chocolate or coffee or working hard or watching TV, but what you really want is you really want to feel good in the moment. So what we do is we introduce essential oils into products that are sprays and roller balls. This one is great. I always bring it when I pitch. It's called Abundance, and I spray it on all the VCs and investors because it makes me more abundant. And it's great. These bottles are really beautiful, and they have sometimes 7 to 8 essential oils. They're blended right here in downtown Asheville, and we call it Scent with Intent. Every one of our products comes in a beautiful box. It has a slogan, Adore Yourself, because we're really all about empowerment and teaching people new practices around how to feel better and how to have the life that they want. So when we started, we were a kitchen table business, and we then turned into a basement in the house business, and today we're actually a real manufacturing business with a factory in downtown Asheville, right down the street on Tingle Alley. And we have grown tremendously in 2 years. And part of that is because we're in this really amazing, beautiful marketplace where the global natural product, consumer product, and organic personal care has become so hot. And you all buy toothpaste and deodorant and shampoo, things like that. And now maybe you look at the ingredients that go into those products and you really want things that are good for you, that don't have chemicals, don't have additives, and we're addressing that market. So $11 billion, but even cooler is that little number below, which is in about 8 years, it's gonna more than double. So this is a trend that isn't going away. As a matter of fact, I read today that Target just launched a private label natural fragrance with essential oils and no additives. And they're doing that business. Why? Because this is a really big market. And the people that are looking at this kind of product are really all of us in the room. It starts very young, but it also goes to a baby boomer. So beautiful packaging, award-winning, really wonderful formulations, made in the US, and then vegan and cruelty-free, which also appeals to this kind of consumer. So what have we been doing? So in the last 2 years, we've kind of been like a tech company trying out our different business models. And what we really saw is that online with a product that you have to smell wasn't really the way to go. So we focused all of our energy on building a wholesale channel. And we are now in over 300 retailers, everybody from Earth Fare to Whole Foods to Harmon's, which is a 18-store grocery store in Utah, all the way to specialty retailers, gift stores, spas, salons, etc. So great crossover. A product like this can go in a supermarket, but it can also go in a high-end spa. And so we've been focusing on that. In Asheville, for instance, we're at Herbiary, Sensibility Spa. We're also at the Asheville Chamber of Commerce, and we're at Earth Fare. So you could kind of see the spectrum. We also did something really different, is we created 2 pricing strategies. So we have one that goes to more of the lower level mass and one that's more prestige. And we did that because what we really wanted to do is we wanted to test out the idea that a product that's either $20 or $30, is there a different opportunity? And what we found is that we actually have both markets. So we are growing with about 48 SKUs, and each of those SKUs is specific to a channel. What we're looking to do in the future as we raise money is really add the component of this that's online and focus on being more consumer focused where we have higher margins. Right now our gross margins are about 75%, and that's mostly at wholesale. An average product that you see over here costs us about $2 to $3 to make, and we retail it for between $20 and $30. So there's a nice markup. We wholesale it for like about $10 to $15. So the big opportunity for us this year is actually Amazon. A lot of us try to stay away from Amazon until we build a big enough brand, but this year that will be our primary focus. And what we've learned in the 2 years of being in business is we want to ship pallets and not boxes. That's really the secret key for us, is to be able to do volume, to be able to hit all of our targets and our revenue model. So the competitive landscape, yes, there is competition, and some of you might know about Young Living and doTERRA, who are two huge MLMs, multi-level marketing firms that have billion-dollar businesses. And the reason we bring them up here is they do sell blended essential oils, but they primarily sell single-note essential oils, which is not what we do. So we put them in kind of the corner called wellness, and they are much more focused on, making you feel good with therapeutic remedy focused. We're really looking to be a beauty brand, and that's why we need to raise money, because this is a marketing play. We're looking to raise about $500,000. We've already raised a little over $600,000 in a convertible note that we closed in December, and we're looking to be profitable in Q2 of this year. And with that money, what we're going to do is we're going to hire internal salespeople, because currently we work primarily with reps, and reps are a little slippery. It's hard to get them to do exactly what you want them to do. And we also need to spend money on advertising and influencers, which is the big push in our industry. That's it. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start here. I'm probably the least qualified person to speak about this, but this is awesome. So I'd love to hear more, if it's okay, about the expansion beyond just the sprays or the boost here, and how I think that you had bars on there or other sort of markets or things you go after. So let's say that I had one of the. It's not a humidifier. This is why I'm not that good at this, but the stuff that sprays, diffuser. Thank you. Yeah. Like if I have one of these and I'd like to have that in a diffuser or have all those other things. How do you start to own that whole ecosystem, if that's okay? And what are the other things you're going to go after?
We intentionally decided not to own the whole ecosystem right now. And compete with those products. Part of it is because of how we feel about this product needing to be portable. So if you want to change your mood, you want to be able to change it where you are, and you can't always pack your diffuser with you. The other thing is when the sprays are out in, and you're a scientist, I think, and somebody who understands this, when it's out there in the air, you're not really getting the potency of applying it on your skin where the essential oils are absorbed, or also being able to breathe it in directly. So that's part of our philosophy, is if you really want a mood boost, you have to spray or roll on, breathe, and transform. In terms of, it's so funny, there's so many parallels to the beer industry, and part of why we're excited to be in Asheville, because we moved the business from New York, New Jersey area to Asheville, is we do believe that this is just like the beer industry. Asheville could be the aromatherapy, capital of the US, and we could have mood boost bars just like you have tasting rooms. People come up to the bar, what mood do you want to be in? They can try different moods, and then they can walk out with something that they can take home. And there are a lot of other applications as we raise money. There are apps that can tie into your calendar. So like for instance, this morning I could see, oh my God, I'm pitching. I better put on some communication mood boost, and I better spray some Serene so I don't freak out when I'm public speaking. And all of us can use a gentle way to remind ourselves of how to be in the mood we want to be, when we're out in the world.
I guess from the science angle then, how do you decide what is, tranquility versus seductive?
Yes, so the ingredients are what makes the product. So Tranquility has lavender and has frankincense and myrrh and all kinds of ingredients and so this is where the science and the model, you have to kind of be careful, and we learn this, is we don't make any claims that are, FDA-ish, or that we're going to say that this is going to cure cancer. And the aromatherapy industry is a little controversial because of that, because people like to say, use this essential oil and everything's going to be completely different. What we claim is that it'll shift your mood. Part of that is not just because you're breathing, which you are when you're inhaling this, but also every box has an affirmation on it. And so it's really about a practice of breath, essential oils, and affirmation. And that's really the mood boost.
Awesome. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. That was really interesting. I really like this packaging. I think it's pretty unique, which I think is probably pretty important in your category. What does it look like at retail? Because I assume that's important then, is how do you get somebody to pick this up and look at it?
That's great. So a lot of the learning we did was going to trade shows, and that's how we started growing the business in the first 2 years. I think we attended about 10 trade shows last year. And at retail, it comes in a display. And each collection, we have a chakra boost collection, a mood boost collection, and a room boost collection. Each one has either 7 or 5. And they have the tester strip in front where somebody can play. And at retail, this is huge.
That was one of the things I was interested in, is how do they sample it?
There's a tester. And so it's like experiential. They can come in, they can play with it, they can smell it. And then the boxes are all lined up behind it, grab and serve. And then the big learning that we had is, if you don't make it clear what the ingredients are or the benefit is or what the top notes are, it gets very confusing. So a lot of our packaging is color coded. So if it's purple, it's probably got lavender. If it's red, and then the headers of these displays have all the information that they need to be able to do what they need at point of purchase.
I see. 'Cause I think you said you had 40 SKUs. Is it pretty evenly divided among sales, or do you have a couple that are really
It is.
standouts?
I'd say our Chakra Boost, which is our rollerball product, which is not a spray, is our top selling product. And I think it's because people who are already maybe doing yoga or meditation are more knowledgeable about essential oils. But we've also developed the spray collection that you see with the illustrations of the girls, because what we're getting feedback on is the young woman, she's either a teen or a little older, she's learning about this kind of product and she needs sort of like a gateway product, and so that's what that is.
I see. You see Amazon being one of your big areas of growth.
Yes.
But early in the presentation you were saying not so well at selling online, you had to actually have the product. How are you going to balance that? How do you, Amazon is so crowded these days, how are you going to get share of mind when somebody goes to Amazon?
So with Amazon, it's still all about discovery, and they click, and you have to do all the things with Amazon. So we would outsource to a third-party Amazon company that knows what they're doing.
No.
Part of our strategy is, in the last year, we've opened up distributors, and one of the distributors is in Amazon Luxury, and so we've waited to be in the space in Amazon that would differentiate us from just the mass of products, and they do more marketing there that we would need. But the other thing is influencers, and so that's where the money comes in, and that whole influencer space is, I don't know if it's big in beer, but it's big in beauty. You need these folks that everybody wants to follow, saying they love it.
Kim Kardashian using
Yeah, or maybe not her, but.
Actually, one group that I looked at recently was they're putting together an influencer program that's not at that level, if you will. It's a lower level of celebrity. I hate to say it like that.
B.
But, it's an interesting idea, because I think that's right. If on Instagram a young lady's looking and sees person XYZ is recommending Adoratherapy, it might be a good way to
It is, and
get some consideration.
Tom likes to say, have a story. What's beautiful about this brand, it's a really great brand to build stories about, because people do want to talk about how they feel. So, they might not put on makeup and say, look, I put it on and this eyeshadow is great and you should buy it, but they want to talk about how their lives feel and how much better they feel, or what they need to do to feel better. So we haven't capitalized on that yet, and that's going to require more marketing dollars. The experiment has been, can we make stuff, sell it, and ship it? And the supply chain piece has been our core focus, so we can scale when the business is there. You said that, and that's key for us too.
Hey, Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So Laura and I are good friends. We've talked a lot about the business, so I'll just focus on a couple things that we haven't talked about, I think. So that $11 billion market with that nice steady growth, How much of that, you're kind of in a unique category of beauty and wellness. What is if you look at like a serviceable, addressable market out of that 11 billion, where do you sit in there?
Yeah, I'd say, well, I'll do it sort of bottom up. What I think we can do is I think we can be a $10 million brand in the next 4 to 5 years. And from there, I think we can turn into a $20 million brand, in the next eight years. And the reason for that is because it's a volume game in terms of the distribution channels. If you get into a large retailer that has 200, 300 doors and they're buying a collection with 18 SKUs and they're reordering, it's a really nice business to be in. So that's the way we look at it. And then from there to grow to a $50 million or $100 million brand, I think it's really all about supply chain. We wouldn't be able to do that on our own. We'd have to be acquired by somebody who that was their core competency.
Great. And then in terms of looking at your traction on the wholesale side of the business, what kind of reorder rates have you seen from your wholesalers and distributors?
Yeah, so when you were meeting with us a few weeks ago, that was something we went back and looked at our numbers, and what we see is that the companies that really get it and have the audience and the consumer, the reorder rate is fabulous. It's usually every month, and it's $300 to $400 reorder. Opening order is maybe $500, so that means they're really replenishing, and the display has 42 pieces, so they're really shuffling through it. So folks like Herbiary, or we have a customer in New York called Namaste, which is like a spiritual store, and that's what they do. Whole Foods orders every month, smaller quantities. So what we've learned is this is a recurring revenue model. It's no different than software, and we have to do a lot better at working on that part and not just focusing on opening up new business. And so if we did that well, I think we could be at a 60 to 80% reorder rate.
And then last question, without really having that direct connection with the customer, what have you understood from your distributors and wholesalers? What is making, because if you look now, it's kind of like the beer analogy. You go into Whole Foods, you go into an Earth Fare, and you've got very crowded shelves. So how do you stick out from all the other competitors that are on the shelf? But more importantly, what are your distributors and wholesale partners telling you about why folks are reordering? What is attractive about the brand, the product that they're understanding, that they're feeding back to you?
I think the mood boost angle is very understandable, so we're not marketing ourselves as a perfume or, so it's got a little bit more of a story behind it, but I think it's the packaging. I mean, the packaging sells it initially. When they use the formulation, they get a benefit, so they reorder. The thing where I think we haven't yet done what we need to is really having a conversation with that direct consumer. So, and we've talked about that, how do you get to the direct consumer when you're focused on a wholesale channel and you don't speak to your customer directly? And I think we need to do better at that. Content, video, influencers, marketing. So, this looks like on the other end a supply chain business, but then also a content business where we have to constantly be marketing in an authentic way.
All right, thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
With Adoratherapy.